Hey folks, I'm out at the chicken coop today and we have a problem. It's actually a problem that we've been having for 3 or 4 days now, and that's that one of our hens has gone broody. We need to break her of that because we don't need broody hens in our flock. I thought I'd bring you along for the journey of what we're trying to do to break her of her broodiness. So as I said in the intro, we have a problem with a broody hen, and I think the best place to start would be to define kind of what a broody hen is. And the most concise, easiest way that I can describe it would be as a hen trying to be a good mom. It doesn't sound like a huge problem, and really a lot of times it's not. It depends on your flock. Great moms are essential. Man, these chickens are being noisy, aren't they? They're essential, but in our flock, it is a problem, and we can get into some of the reasons why as the video goes on, but I just wanted to kind of define what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a hen that is trying to hatch the eggs that are being laid here. I kind of wanted to go over some of the signs that we saw, how you can identify if you have a broody hen or not. And obviously the first one is going to be that they are in that box all the time. They will not leave. You try and kick them out, they get mad and they go back in. They will not leave that box. That's obviously the first huge sign that you have a broody chicken. But other things to look for is they could potentially lose their feathers along their breast. And the reason for this is because they are trying to incubate eggs. They are warm, and so they will kind of pluck their own feathers out of their chest area so that some of that heat transfer goes to the eggs. The eggs can be closer to the warmth of their body. So if you see a chicken with looks like some thinning out of the breast feathers, you may have a broody chicken on your hand too. The other thing is, as we kick her out of the box and do not allow her back in, she's very puffed up, very vocal, making noises that she doesn't typically make. That kind of sounds a little different, but very puffed up. Her wings are up like this a lot, just kind of annoyed and always trying to figure out how to get back into that box. So to try and break her of her broodiness, we've tried a couple different methods here. The first one, which is the easiest one, the one that you hope works first, is just to block off the box, deny her access to the laying box that she's being broody in. So we kicked her out and we blocked that off. At first we had like a dog dish that we sometimes will put like treats for them in. We took that, threw it in upside down in that thing, so if she went to sit in there, it would be an upside down bowl, and that would prevent her from being in there. That didn't work. She just sat on top of the bowl and was being broody to the bowl. So we blocked it off more with wood, so she just didn't have access to that box. Sometimes that works. Didn't work with her. She just moved to the other box, which caused another problem because we only have 2 boxes for our chickens. They usually will all lay in the same box. She was sitting in one, they were laying in the other. We blocked off the one she liked, so she moved to the other. So then that was it, both boxes were taken up. So we figure if they're both gonna be taken up anyway, we're gonna block that one off too. If you're gonna block off all of the chicken boxes for this broody hen, you have to have a place where the other hens will lay, and we do have that with our setup. Our setup is kind of an enclosed run with a house inside of it, and the house has the laying boxes, and then the enclosed run is just a place for their protection. And then during the day, the enclosed run has the door to an outside run where they can do more like kind of free range stuff. And out there, they have a couple places where they've kind of nested before and laid before. One of them's like a dog house that we repurposed. We just put some of those stuff out there because we've had some hawk attacks, and that gives them somewhere if they're not near the enclosure, they could run into the dog house or something, and they'll lay in there. And then our broody hen has not yet shown interest in being broody in those areas. If she does, we'll have another issue. But she still is broody. She's still walking around all puffed up, spending all of her day trying to figure out how to get back into those nesting boxes. So we decided to just block off the entire house because our chickens roost in the outside part of the enclosed run anyway at night. Even though there's perches inside the house, they like it outside. So we blocked off the door with a bucket that we had. I took the ramp and kind of blocked it off. They can't get in there now, and they're a little perturbed by that, but they'll get over it. Now we're going to take the next step, which is a cold bath. And you can do this a couple ways. Basically, the hen, a lot of times broodiness is caused by an elevated body temperature, or that comes along with broodiness. I'm not exactly sure the science, but the elevated body temperature and broodiness go hand in hand. And it's kind of a signal to the chicken's brain that, like, oh, I'm an incubator, I need to go incubate. And so one method that we've heard is that a lot of people will take like a bag of frozen vegetables, put it in the box, so that when she goes to be broody in the box, she's sitting on cold vegetables, which lowers her temperature and kind of sends a signal to her brain, this isn't going to hatch, I'm not feeling so broody anymore. Or you can do a cold bath. We're going to do that this evening. I'm not actually going to be here for it, but my wife's going to do it with my daughter, and they're going to film it, and we're going to hope that works. Kind of bring her body temperature down and kind of get her out of that broodiness mode. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to the last measure, which we've used one other time for a broody hen, which is we have a wire dog crate that we will put in the enclosed run, put her in that crate with food and water, and so that she's eating and drinking, but no bedding or anything. And it could be about 3 days that she would be in there. And that would kind of typically breaks them out of their broodiness. We don't really want to cage her like that. I mean, it's a big cage. It's not like she's really pinned in there, but that's kind of a last resort. So we'll see if this cold bath works, and if not, we'll have to break her that other way. But anyway, we'll see. So let's get to it. Alright, so it's been 2 days since we did the cold bath for our broody hen, and I am happy to report that all signs point to it working. 2 days now, she has not acted broody at all. We have the house and the laying boxes back open for business. The chickens are using them, they're happy, everything is back to normal. It's great, so that is definitely a method that we're going to be using in the future. It's the first time we used it, and we are happy that we didn't have to use the crate this time. So very good method. I recommend trying that when you have a broody hen. One thing that I was not able to get to in this video is exactly why we wanted to break her of being broody, and why there are reasons that maybe you do want a broody hen at times. Just why we didn't and why some people do. That will be a separate video that I'll be coming out with. It's not going to be out at the same time that this one is released, but if you're watching this sometime in the future and it is out, I'll have it linked in the description when it comes out, so you can check that out if you want to know more about broodiness and the pros and cons of having a broody hen. But for now, we're just happy that it worked. It's time for me to go water the garden and get on with my other chores. Thank you for coming along with us, and we'll see you next time.